Alright, so we have the patch details for part 2 of the January update. It's coming a little bit later than I thought it would be. However, it is a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. So let's jump right into it. The first thing is we have a surprise uniform for Spider-Man. I had a feeling they were going to be giving him a back to the basics uniform, but it wasn't confirmed. This confirms it, so this is really good. However, if you take a look at the uniform bonus, it's actually exactly the same as the No Way Home uniform. So kind of a bummer. However, let's see what else they decided to change for Spider-Man. So they actually decided to work on his 4-star passive, and they made it a little bit better than last time. As you can see right here, before, when his HP was below 40%, he would heal 30% of his HP and he would become invisible for 5 seconds. Invisible and untargetable. However, as you can see right here, they decided to cut the cooldown by 10 seconds, which is pretty good. And they also made it so that this applies at 50% instead of 40%. So that is pretty dope. Moving on to his tier 2 passive, they decided to keep it exactly the same as what it is for the No Way Home uniform. I personally would have liked to see some damage reduction here because I think Spider-Man is a little bit too fragile to keep up with some of the heavy hitters in timeline battle right now, and I think that is still going to be where they're pushing for him to succeed, I guess. However, we'll see if maybe with this new 4-star passive that's enough. Cooldown time being significantly shorter will definitely help him. So we have stun, we have weapon, we have silence, we have a 50% attack buff on the 3rd skill. Previously this was where his damage accumulation was, and it was actually 0.4, and it would scale all the way up if you charged it long enough. However, they actually moved it and put it right here on his 4th skill. They decided to bump up the healing right here from 20% to 30%, so that's really dope. And then they actually made it so that he has the 1.2% damage accumulation right out the gate, and you don't have to hold the skill to charge it. He also still gets to keep ignore targeting on his 4th skill, so that is really good. Moving on to the 5th skill, they actually took away the V-pad ability, which is kind of a bummer. I like being able to move around with Spider-Man when I'm doing his most powerful attack. However, it is what it is. At least we got invincibility in place of the barrier, and they also gave him an attack buff here, and we're keeping the 100% damage proc. So his rotation is probably still going to be something like 3 cancel, 4 cancel, proc on 5. Moving on, we have Arachnite running a Spider-Man 2099 knockoff uniform. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gents. They're giving him 15% chain hit damage, super armor, and all basic defenses. 40% all basic defense is actually really good. They should have given some of that to Spider-Man. I'm just gonna say that. But anyways, it's fine. They're giving him a new type of leadership that applies to the Infinity Warps characters. I thought they would have forgotten about all of those guys already. Okay, so it's kind of like Drax, but instead of HP, it gives them attack. It's actually the exact same kind of Drax, where you have the 3 characters of the specific type on the team, and you get an extra 65% attack buff. That's kind of cool. Okay, so applies to self, 40% HP, 25% ignore dodge. That's really good. Guaranteed dodge, guaranteed critical raise, kill damage and bonus damage. That's good. We got bleed, we got stun, weapon, paralysis, barrier. We got bleed, silence, paralysis. He gets a heal, 50% attack and defense, critical rate. Okay, he gets immunity, 90% increase to 1 attack. Moving on, we have bleed, we have weapon, paralysis, defense down, 20% chance to penetrate. That's such an odd number. They've been doing some really weird penetration numbers lately. Usually you'd see like 100% or maybe 50%, then they did the 33%. Now we're seeing 20%. That's really strange. Okay, 40% attack there. Oh, nice. Wow, so Chasm is actually a super villain. That's dope. Well, if he's strong enough, he might have the power to become the next speed villain for ABX. Okay, might actually surpass Green Goblin, and if you're still using, I don't know, Gamora or Electro. Interesting. So we have chain hit damage when he's attacking, we have ignore dodge, and then he also has damage reduction. Interestingly enough, he's a super villain and he still retains the leadership tag, so you'll be able to use him with White Fox. Moving on to his passives, they decided to give him 35% all attack for his 4-star passive, and then for his tier 2 passive they decided to give him 10% more skill damage and I believe 15% more bonus damage, while keeping the extra damage to heroes and villains the same. They should have increased these or added an extra line, basically giving damage reduction to all spider type characters. That would have been really clutch. Might have made him like considered for PvP for Spider-Man, who knows. Okay, so his first skill is remaining the same as what he currently has. Second skill has the ability to remove active buffs. Third skill has a counter attack and ignore iframe with silence, and damage accumulation is 0.9. He heals for 25% of his HP. We got immunity, we got burn, we got fracture, invincibility for 3 seconds. That's such an odd number, but then again, yeah, these cooldown times are kind of yikes. Ideally, you want one of these to be at like 15, another one at 12. You have 16, 16, 18. Yikes. Hopefully, he still remains proc friendly. Moving on, Scarlet Spider tier 3, 80% penetration. It looks really cool. Oh, wow. Okay. We got some triple spider play there. That's actually really cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, they won me over with the aesthetics, that's for sure. The bonuses is kind of mid. But anyways, moving on. Spider-Man, what you got? Remove active buff from target. Includes all debuffs for 1 second. And then his web ignores immunity for 2 seconds. So even if they have debuff immunity, he'll still be able to web them for 2 seconds. And then 80% all attack. Honestly, it's okay. It's not great though. Now, this part of the patch note came as a surprise to me because I thought it was going to be Scarlet Spider and Arachnite for the Awaken skill. Them giving Scarlet Spider a tier 3 and then awakening all of the Infinity Warps characters together. Big shocker to me. However, the one that I'm excited for is Ghost Panther, because that means you'll be able to use Ghost Panther in Giant Boss Raid and World Boss Legend finally. So that's actually pretty dope. Don't really care for what it looks like because we already know it's just copy paste. Moving on, let's see these artifacts. 50% chance to remove all debuffs. Whatever, that's mid, I'm sorry. However, it applies to all spider characters, so okay, it's a little bit more useful. However, 25-second cooldown is just like, really? Yikes. Moving on, 15% chance to dodge everything. Okay, so kind of like Spider-Man, Black Widow a little bit, and then he ignores. It's actually pretty good. Moving on, we got Iron Hammer. Increase lightning damage by 30% of lightning resistance. Increase basic damage to supervillain by 15%. That's actually pretty good. And then they missed the opportunity to give Ghost Panther a really good one. Increase fire damage by 30% of fire resist. Increase damage dealt to supervillain. However, this only applies to himself, which is just dumb since he's a support character. All of these should have been applied to all fire type characters or just all characters in general. Like, it's just dumb. Why would you guys do that? Moving on, increase mind depth. Okay, so they just copied the same thing, bro. They copied the same thing 3 times, bro. Really? Oh, it's a mind-based character. Let's just make it so that she does more mind damage based on her mind resistance. Like, they literally copied the same thing 3 times, bro. How lazy can you guys get? Wow, bro. Anyways, so other improvements, they added an ability for these Infinity Warps characters. Arachnite's Weapon Master ability has been changed to Infinity Warps. Iron Hammer's magic ability has been changed to Infinity Warps. The Infinity Warps ability has been added to Ghost Panther. Weapon X agility has been changed to Infinity Warps. That's just kind of lame because the agility tag pops up quite often in World Boss Legend. The magic tag pops up from time to time, and then the Weapon Master pops up from time to time. So these characters losing these specific tags in place of a useless tag that will never be relevant. Okay, let me not say never, but what's the likelihood of them making World Boss Legend stage or just content in the general and saying you have to use specifically Infinity Warps characters? Very unlikely. But it is what it is. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gents. Are you excited for these characters? And if so, which ones are you most excited for? Spider-Man probably is the one that most people are going to be pumping resources into. But let's not forget, Ant-Man is coming in like 3 weeks. Guaranteed tier 4 for sure. And something might be coming shortly after that for Lunar Snow.